minutes from the system. All right. All right. Looks like we are live. All right. Peace, family. Welcome to another exciting episode of Living Proof with the Love Alchemist. And today we have Crypto Cliff, Clifton O'Neill. Brother Cliff is a cryptocurrency expert, and he is living proof that just because you were born into poverty or born dirt poor, just means you got to get your riches out the mud, right? I mean, you have to stay poor just because you're born poor. And that's the beautiful thing about living really in the United States. I know we get a lot of flack over here about, how great it would be to live somewhere else, and people promote other places as being better. But one of the things that I noticed about, because I've traveled abroad, I was in the military and I traveled to a lot of different countries. And one of the things about living in other countries that's different over here is that in many other countries, if you're born poor, you pretty much are relegated to staying in whatever caste that you're born into. But that's not so here in the United States. So before I go any further, Brother Cliff, welcome to the show. And if there's anything that you would like to tell our guests or our listeners about who you are and what you do, feel free.
Okay. Hey, I appreciate the invite, brother. I really do. Been looking forward to coming on your show for a while now. I know we link up in the BMMO group a lot, man. But I appreciate the opportunity. A little bit about me, like you were saying, I was actually born dirt poor, dirt broke. I'm talking about walking on dirt roads with no shoes on, poor. Country boy poor. But when it comes down to getting into the lifestyle I'm in now, man, it was a very, very long journey. And like you said, just because you start off at the bottom, I mean, you got to stay at the bottom. Most people's problem is their mentality stays at the bottom, even though they try to elevate in life. You have to elevate that mentality first. Once you elevate your mentality, your body will naturally align with it and actually, ascend to that level of frequency.
Yeah, that's real, man. That's real. It's funny you say it because I talk so much about mental performance and leveling up here before you level up anywhere in life. And like you said, if you put your mind to anything, then your body will align with whatever your thoughts are. Y'all do me a favor as you come in, smash that like button, share this video, invite some friends, tag some family, because this is a very necessary conversation. Crypto Cliff is about to drop some jewels on us. Brother Yardley, always at the bakery. What's up, my man? That brother stay at work. This is a good conversation.
What's up?
That man always making the donuts. So look, let's get into it. What is blockchain technology and why is it important?
Blockchain technology is basically an upgraded version of the internet. It's a more accountable version of the internet. The internet itself, what we call in the tech world, is like the wild, wild west. It's decentralized because governments control the internet and different entities control the internet, but it's still out of whack. It's out of control. You have people who doing human trafficking and black market sales and all different types of yin yang and flip flop when it comes down to the internet. Now, what blockchain is, it actually brings accountability to the way we actually store and access data. So instead of you actually being in a wild, wild west situation where you don't know where transactions are coming from or what data is coming from this place, now you have one centralized platform or ledger that actually verifies different transactions back and forth, which links different transactions together. That's the name blockchain. So one of the greatest aspects of blockchain technology is the fact that you can go back and verify the very first transaction that happened on the blockchain and the very last transaction that happened on the blockchain and everything in between. That's the beauty of blockchain. It brings accountability and back into the way we actually store and access data. And it brings anonymity to the way we actually store and access data, because now you don't have your name attached to anything. It brings a sense of self-worth or self-building, because now you don't have to put your social security number on anything. You don't have to put your ID on anything. You have total anonymity.
Okay. When I first started, because I'm new to this whole blockchain technology space, cryptocurrency, and so I was confusing the terms. I was thinking that blockchain technology and cryptocurrency that they were synonymous or interchangeable. Explain to me or explain to the listeners what the difference is, or what is cryptocurrency.
Cryptocurrency, to sum it up, to simplify it, is nothing more than a way to access and actually pay and exchange goods and services online. A lot of people get mixed up in the terminology of cryptocurrency. It's basically just that. It's just a way for you to be able to pay and store things online. Now, blockchain, where blockchain comes into that equation is cryptocurrencies run off blockchain technology. But blockchain technology is a monster all in itself. People don't realize how big blockchain really is. Blockchain is probably at least 100 times larger than the internet itself.
Mm.
So eventually everything will go on a blockchain because blockchain brings accountability back into the systems that be. Just imagine this. Imagine you have a child sex trafficking ring that you see. You see people. You can actually go on a website online. But imagine it being on the blockchain where that transaction is actually stamped and actually proved and verified. Now you can go back to that transaction and actually try to stop these acts from happening because of the accountability in blockchain. Now, because it's the anonymity portion of it, you won't be able to find the people that's doing it, but you can stop those transactions from happening at that point and actually have a central access point to actually go back and see if you can kind of, get justice for that act.
I heard, I haven't confirmed this to be true, but maybe you know a little bit more about this. I heard that there are actually some places, some employers that are paying their employees in Bitcoin.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of NBA players right now are taking their profits, are taking their salaries in Bitcoin. Tom Brady just announced that he's taking half of his salary in Bitcoin. Even when it came down to him, I think he threw his like 5,000 touchdown or something like that, and a guy grabbed the ball in the stadium. He tried to pay this guy like over 2 or 3 Bitcoin just to get that ball back. Wow. Everything around us is going digital. And if you don't believe me, go to your bank tomorrow and try to deposit $2,000 cash in there. And I guarantee you they will tell you to go and do a wire transfer.
So he tried to pay him 2 or 3 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That's now 1 Bitcoin is equivalent to how much in dollars?
Around 47,000 right now.
So he was trying to give him roughly $150,000 for that
for a game ball. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So now take us back for a second, because Bitcoin right now you're saying is about roughly $48,000.
Yeah.
Now I heard, I thought I heard you in the lecture before talking about the value of Bitcoin when it first came out and how much richer we would be if we had invested in it when it first came out. Kind of give us a breakdown of what that looks like.
Yeah, Bitcoin actually came on the surface July of 2008. 2008, I believe. It's either 2008 or 2009. But when it first came out, Bitcoin was only 8 cents a coin. You can literally buy Bitcoin for 8 cents. So Bitcoin became like an intermediary for at first a lot of black market stuff. Because nobody else would have, thought Bitcoin would actually get to the magnitude it is actually now. But just imagine going back to July of 2009 and actually buying Bitcoin at 8 cents. And imagine the price point you can get it at right now. Like me personally, I got into Bitcoin a little later. I got into Bitcoin around 2014. And I actually started accumulating Bitcoin around $127. And I'm still mad that I didn't get Bitcoin at 8 cents. Yeah. And I got in at $127.
Wow.
And I've been buying ever since. But this is the thing what a lot of people don't get, the misconception about Bitcoin. A lot of people think just because it's $47,000 that it's still late to get into this game. That's not the case at all. It's very, very, very extremely early to get into Bitcoin because it still has not been adopted on a mass level yet. But this is the kicker. In the next 5 to 7 years, they're predicting that Bitcoin will be at least $1 million a coin because of the rarity of it. And I'll tell you why. There were only 23 million Bitcoin ever created on the planet. Bitcoin cannot be recreated. You cannot recreate Bitcoin. So the rarity of Bitcoin is what's going to drive the price point up. Now, out of that 23 million Bitcoin that was created, it's probably less than 7 million Bitcoin still in circulation right now. And the masses, when I tell you the largest institutions of the planet, Grayscale, Warren Buffett's company, banks, they're all buying Bitcoin by the thousands of coins every week. So that 5 to 7 year period for Bitcoin to hit $1 million a coin could literally be like 3 years. And they're actually predicting in the next 17 years, Bitcoin could be at least $1 billion a coin. So
Wow.
just to give you a scope on how big that is, right now Bitcoin is around, let's just say for lack of conversation, it's around $45,000. Now, what's a quarter of 45,000?
A quarter of 45,000. That would
Quarter
be
of 45,000.
15.
15. So right now you put $15,000 into Bitcoin. And that 15, well, no, it's less than 15. Okay, for lack of conversation, let's say $60,000 because I don't feel like doing math right now. All right. So say Bitcoin is $60,000. Now you turn around and you put buy a quarter of a Bitcoin at $15,000. Now I've already showed you how they break down and actually predicting that Bitcoin will be at least $1 billion a coin one day within the next 17 years. That means a $15,000 investment today could potentially be worth $250,000 in the next 17 years. Now, that right there alone is building generational wealth.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and I'm reading your book. I'm about to put it up. I wish I had if I was better with technology, y'all would, I would have a picture of it. But this book, Closing the Wealth Gap, is a very well-written book written by yours truly, Crypto Cliff. And I was impressed with some of the ideas that you shared in this book. Explain to us how, reconcile this for me. We're talking about $48,000 a coin, right? And closing the wealth gap. And we got a guy here, Robert Lee says, for the beginner, what's the best way to start to invest in Bitcoin? So $48,000 a coin, you're talking about closing the wealth gap. How do we get into Bitcoin with $48,000? How do we break into this? How does it make sense because the average person doesn't have $48,000 to buy a Bitcoin? So make that make sense for us, please.
That's a very good question, and I'm glad you asked that question. Now, not only am I a Bitcoin investor, I'm also a teacher, and I also have my own platform where I actually teach cryptocurrency investing for beginners. And through that platform, I've been able to create over 25 millionaires. And I think at least 120 people who actually went from living paycheck to paycheck to having at least 5 figures in their bank account. So, and I did that by telling people the same thing I'm getting ready to tell your audience right now. Every dollar counts. That's one of my sayings. I even have it on the back of my shirts. Every dollar counts. People think you have to buy an entire Bitcoin. That's not the case. You can buy particles or percentages of Bitcoin. You can buy as little as $10 in Bitcoin. But imagine how big that $10 will be over the years when you actually gradually keep putting $10 into this pot, and how your bank account would actually grow if you keep putting $10 into this pot gradually. Now, let me tell you about what dollar cost averaging investing is. Dollar cost averaging investing is when you actually allocate a certain amount of your funds to go into a certain amount of cryptocurrencies over a week or a 2-week basis, depending on which way you get paid. So if you get paid weekly, you put this amount of funds into the crypto market every week. If you get paid bi-weekly, you put it in there bi-weekly. And you do this over a next 5 to 7 year period. And statistics shows that over 5 to 7 years, your crypto account or your crypto portfolio will grow at least 100x. At least 100x. Now it could be 1,000x depending on what you're playing. But it's all about building a foundation. And when you build that foundation is going to set you up to have a high interest gaining bank account or a high interest gaining 401k for you in the crypto market. Now, the 4 coins I always tell people to actually buy is Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Cardano. Those are your foundational coins. Those are the coins I buy weekly, regardless of what the price point is. And when you use the dollar cost averaging model, you're buying regardless of what the price point is. You're buying consistently every week or bi-weekly to get to a goal for the next 5 to 7 years to actually build a high interest gaining bank savings account.
Okay, so repeat those again. You said that there's 4. Repeat those 4 again.
Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Cardano.
Okay.
But I will say this for the brother who actually asked that question. The very first investment that you make when it comes down to getting into crypto investing or getting into any market is you have to invest into the technology and into the information. You have to invest into the information. You have to get with somebody who's actually going to teach you these skills. You have to get with somebody or get into a learning class that's actually going to teach you how to invest into the crypto market. Yes. I spent years losing money in other financial markets, just to gain the knowledge that I have now when it comes down to investing, period. You have to invest into the information first. A lot of people gamble the market. and that's where the Sheebs and the Dogecoin losers and the AMC losers and the GMC losers. That's where they come into play, because they don't go into the markets with a strategy. They go into the markets to gamble the market. You want to go into the market with a strategy. You want to have the know-how to actually get into these markets to make gains versus losing money.
Wow. And you teach, right? You have a what do you have going on as far as how do people get in touch with you? And I guess I'm jumping the gun because this is really a closing kind of question, but you just mentioned that people need to invest and learn. What is there? Is there a way that they can connect with you and learn from you how to do this?
2 ways you can connect with me. You can connect with me directly on Facebook, Clifton O'Neal. That's the easiest way. DM me just straight up. That's the easiest way to get in contact with me. Or you can go to my website, www.cryptocliff.net. Or you can go to my my Gmail account, which is mrcryptocliff@gmail.com.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the easiest way to get in contact with me, honestly, is directly just DM me.
Okay. Yeah. Family, this is a good conversation. This is hot. And if you know somebody, you should be sharing this because this information needs to get out. It's still early in the crypto game. I know 48,000 sounds like an intimidating number because most of us don't have 48 grand just sitting in the bank. But Cliff is breaking down how we can do this, how we can get into this game, and it's still early, and this thing is going to go up at least 100 times over the next in the coming years. Cliff, you talked about closing the wealth gap. 2 things I would like for you to do. First of all, give us an idea in your words how you define wealth, and then what is the wealth gap that you're talking about?
Okay. I define wealth is not monetary. Wealth is peace of mind and actually having the greatest asset that's on the planet, your time back. That's wealth. A lot of people want to put a monetary value on wealth, but you can chase the dollar bill until the day you die and never have peace. Having peace of mind and having access to the time, the valuable time that we can't get back. The one asset that we can't get back is wealth. It doesn't matter if you have $10 in your pocket or you have 100 million in your pocket. You want to be at peace and you want to have the greatest asset, which is time. Now gaining monetary value or gaining money, getting money is the easiest way for you to be able to have time. It goes kind of hand in hand. But what is the wealth gap? The wealth gap is a system that was put in place to hold disenfranchised people aside. I will speak on the wealth gap in general, to hold most people aside, for the elite to actually gain more money off of our debt. That's basically the wealth gap. Now, our personal wealth gap as Black people started back in slavery in 1860, for instance. I can show you a picture that we were actually on the dollar bills in 1860 in the Confederate. Now, that doesn't mean that what that means is we didn't have any wealth. We were the wealth of the country at the time. We have been the wealth of the country for how many years now? Over 450 years now. And truth be told, close to 1,000 years. But the thing is, man, it's time for us to enclose that wealth gap. They're not going to give us reparations. It'll bankrupt the country. They're not going to give it to us. But what you can do is create your own reparations. And one of the ways I believe we can create our own reparations is through crypto investing. And I don't believe it. I know it. I'm living proof. I'm put myself into the position to where me and my wife don't have to work if we don't want to. I put myself into the position to where my kids don't have to work if they don't want to. And that's all through cryptocurrency, because cryptocurrency is the one market that does not discriminate. Don't care whether you're blue, purple, green, gay, straight, male, female. It's all about bringing the power of currency back to the people. That's the basic point of cryptocurrency.
Yeah. Powerful. Man, James Gifford said, damn, that's a powerful explanation. It is, man. It is. You talked about closing the wealth gap, and I think that was an excellent explanation of what wealth is. Now, you know me, I get into relationships. I'm the relationship coach. Explain to me, and this is almost too vanilla of a question, I think, but I think it's important to still kind of touch on it. How has having this extra money or the extra wealth as you defined it, how has that impacted your relationship with your wife, your children, your family in general, but particularly your immediate circle, your wife and your children?
It actually impacted it tremendously on a good note, on a good level, because now I have the access to the time. Before I got into the investing game, period, I actually was a truck driver. I drove trucks for a living, and I was gone a lot. Sometimes I'd be gone 2 or 3 days at a time. Sometimes I'd be gone maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks at a time. Um, and it wasn't until I actually had my youngest two twin girls that my wife kind of set me down and said, I can't do this anymore. I have you on the road now. We have 3 kids now versus 1, and I need you here at home. You know what I'm saying? So it forced me to actually rethink the way I was living life and the way I was actually bringing in money, to say, okay, I need to make a change. And once I made that change, I mean, it was just automatic. At first, I lost a lot of money, to be honest with you. I lost a gang of money at first, especially in the forex market, in the binary options market. But stocks and cryptocurrency kind of stuck with me, especially cryptocurrency. I call myself the crypto crackhead. You know what I mean? I'm all about getting my fix when it comes down to crypto.
Yeah.
But it really, having access to wealth, and it really opened up my mind to the possibilities of what I can do with my children. Now I can help my children study at home. I can do their homework with them. I can cook dinner with them. Me and my wife, we travel maybe 6 to 7 times a year. Before COVID, we traveled around 8 to 9 times a year. I just left Maldives in June. You know what I mean? Most people would never get a chance to see Maldives in their lifetime. I was in Maldives. I'm still kind of in disbelief of that. But it allowed me the opportunity to actually live life versus having life live for me.
That's dope, man. I was watching the video with you down in Miami, and I know your wife didn't really want to be on camera, but I noticed that she was there with you, and I think that's, man, that's phenomenal. You know, because when I travel, I bring my wife with me, and I think that, you know, when you have that extra, what do you want to call it, that comfort level to be able to do that, you know, I think money just makes you more of what you already are.
Yeah.
Right. And so, you know, if your relationship is good, then it should really, theoretically, it should get better. Right. Because you're going to put even more time and resources and effort into what you have, thus, you know, making it better. And so I think, man, I love to see that, you know, even though it only showed a glimpse of her on camera, it was real cool to see her traveling with you. And I you know, it just reminds me of how we get down. I flew to Phoenix. I took my wife with me. Man, what the brother's like, man, why you take your wife everywhere you go? Man, who else would I rather be with? I mean, it's cool to, you know, kick it and have fun and have drinks. You know, she stay at the hotel until I'm, you know, done hanging with the fellas or whatever. Like, we won't set shooting, you know, for the film. But after that, man, I want to be with my lady. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
you got time to be around no hard legs all night long, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's the same way I am with my wife. Most of the trips we take couples trips. And a lot of people don't want to go because a lot of people don't want to be around their wife. But my wife is my best friend, so I would rather be around her than anybody else. And you know, even if, like I tell people, if me and her was to split up tomorrow, you know, we'll still be best friends because our friendship came first. And it's just amazing because now that I have access to the things I've done, now I give her the freedom to actually do things that she wants to do. I try to give her a chance to go on girls trip sometimes. She's like, nah, babe, I'd rather go with you. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. Yeah.
but the thing is, a lot of people don't realize, man, how big wealth actually plays a part. Finances plays a part in relationships. Period. You look at the statistics, man. 70 or 84% of divorces are initiated by women. 79% of divorces are actually initiated behind financial reasons. So that lets you know right there, most women ain't staying if the finances ain't right. But the thing with that is as well too, man, that lets you know that finances play just that big of a part in people's relationships. So why not do things that's actually going to help you out financially?
Right.
You know. And on top of that, once you get into this game of crypto investing, to get into investing, period, it frees your time up for you to be able to spend more time with your family. A lot of people, I know brothers who make a lot of money, who make a gang of money, but they're never at home with their wives. That right there can take a toll on a woman. It can take a toll on the family. It can take a toll on your children. So just having access to wealth and the knowledge to actually gain wealth gives you the freedom to actually put time back in and breathe life back into your family.
You know, let me see. Hold on. Let me say to the family real quick. If you guys have questions, because I can't hold Brother Cliff very long. He's a busy man. Time is money, and he's got a lot going on. So if you have questions, don't hesitate to get these questions in so we can take advantage of this man's time while he's here, because his time is very valuable. We have a question here from Mike Kelly. He says, can we invest as a group, say 10 friends, all put 200 apiece and start with $2,000? Do you recommend this?
No. I recommend you taking your $200 and investing into yourself. One thing I've learned about dealing with people when it comes down to money, people get real funny when it comes down to their money. They don't care whether it's $200 or $10. People want the value for their money. I suggest that you actually invest your own money first, and then once you guys actually build wealth, now you can kind of come together and pull your money together. I actually have a project right now that I'm actually getting ready to I actually unleashed in our groups, which is Project Rainbow. And Rainbow is basically a cryptocurrency that we're actually getting ready to go into as a whole with 1,700 people. And everybody puts $1,000 into the pot to drive the price point up of that project. And after that project, we'll actually end up gaining out of that $1,000, you will gain $99,000. Just because a bunch of us together are pooling our money together and actually investing at one time. But we're not putting our money together. We're just putting it in the exchange at one time.
Yeah. So I need you to touch on that one a little bit more, because I heard you talk about that, and you kind of brushed through that pretty quickly. But I think people might want to hear just a little bit more about that. Can you expound on that a little bit?
Okay, cool. Let's get into it. All right. Right now, the price of Lovely Coin. Let me see. The price of Lovely Coin is 0.0000738. That's like a millionth of a penny. Almost a million of a penny. So for $1, for $1 US, you get around 38 million Lovely Coin. Not Lovely Coin, Rainbow Coin. So what we're planning on doing, not what we plan, what we're actually going to do, is actually pull our money together, but not pool our money together. So we have 1,700 members in my BMMO investors group. Now we're going to pick one time frame. It's going to be February 4th at 10 a.m. in the morning, and we're all going to put our place our $1,000 investment in at the same time. Now what this will do is it's going to be, I think, for us to put in $1,000 a piece, that's $1.7 million. The daily market cap of the 24-hour market cap of this cryptocurrency is only 3.6 million. That means we're going to literally take over almost half of that daily market cap, which will drive the price point up at least 100x. So that means that $1,000 investment that each person does that off that 1.7 million will gain, if it hits 1,000x, will gain $100,000 overnight. Wow. Now, at that point, we will actually pull our money back out of it. Now, some people will probably wait for a while to pull their money back out of it. That's cool, but we have a strategic plan put in place for you to pull your money out, so you can maximize at least $100,000 out of that play, off of $1,000, leaving you with $99,000 profit.
So wait a minute. I layman's terms, you got to put it where the goats can get it, and I like a 12th grade, or I'm sorry, a 12-year-old explanation. You mean to tell me that if I put $1,000 into this Rainbow Coin, that 24 hours later, with the way this thing is going to drive, that I'll have $99,000?
Potentially, yes. I can't tell you that for sure because it's always investing. Right. But if we all strategically put our money in at one centralized time, 10 a.m. Central Time, Eastern Time, no matter where you're at, just pinpoint that 10 a.m. Once we all put our money together at this one point in time, it's going to take over half of their daily market cap. That's going to drive the price point up at least 100x. It could be 1,000x. If it drives it up 1,000x, that's $1 million off of $1,000 investment.
Wow.
Now, a lot of people say this is not true. That can't happen in the crypto space. Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story about how I made $87,000. I turned $87 into $230,000. Now, I'm pretty sure most people on your platform has heard of Dogecoin. Doge was big in the news. I bought Dogecoin in 2017 for a hundredth of thousands of a penny, I believe, and I put $87. I had my last $87 on my exchange, on Bitrix exchange, and I just threw the $87 into Dogecoin. That got me around 270,000 Dogecoins. Now, when Doge actually, let's fast forward back into earlier this year, when Doge hit almost 79 cents. I looked at my Bittrex account and remembered I had Doge. I forgot all about it because it's been years, and I actually seen that I had $198,000 in my account. Yeah, from Dogecoin.
Wow.
Now, outside of that, right there, of course, I pulled it out and I just played on the dips. So off of the dips, I made another $40,000. So that $87 investment made me a close to $230,000
That's impressive. That is very impressive. I
on
know.
accident. I said on accident. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but even still, I mean, you got to be in the right place at the right time for even a lucky thing to happen in your favor.
Oh
Right?
yeah, man. It's all about timing. It's all about putting your money into the right places. In that case, that was an accident. But I have made a lot more money on cryptocurrency projects that I knew all about. When I go into a cryptocurrency project, I read the entire network of that cryptocurrency project. Like for instance, if I go into Cardano, I'm reading Cardano's entire website. I'm reading the whole entire white paper. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Cardano's Twitter. I'm on Cardano's Instagram. I fully study and engage into the information about that product before I put my money into that product.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like that. I like that. Brother James says, when I start my investment, should I invest weekly or how often and for how long?
You should invest weekly or bi-weekly, depending on how your pay schedule is. It's when you dollar cost average the market, you actually investing at a specific time every week or every bi-weekly, and you're doing this over a 5 to 7 year period. Okay. Now you could gain a lot quicker and pull out a lot faster. Now the dollar cost averaging model actually came from investing into the stocks, into NFTs, not NFTs, but EFTs in the stock market. People buy these stocks, these portions of stocks over the next 20 to 25 year periods, and this known to gain only around between 10 and 15% interest over the next 20 to 25 years. Cryptocurrency demolished that. It demolishes that because it has high interest gaining percentages. So by you doing this using that same model in the crypto market, you're actually gaining higher percentages over time. So it cuts it down to between a 5 to 7 year period. But you could potentially get to your price point in 3 years.
Man, this conversation is powerful and painful at the same time because my wife and I, we were on a trip up to Charlotte, and my buddy's wife at the time, this was back in 2014, maybe 2013, and she mentioned Bitcoin. And it was one of those things that I blew it off. I was like, oh, okay, that sounds cool. I'll look into it. And I just wasn't serious. And before you know it, fast forward and here we are. And I'm like, man, that was a golden opportunity. But even then, it's still family. It's still not too late. Cliff is mentioning, he's dropping some jewels. If you came in late, you might have to go back and watch this from the beginning because the man is dropping some powerful nuggets of wisdom on this crypto space and closing the wealth gap. We got to get in, family. It's too good of an opportunity to not take advantage of. Lynn Sturtevant has a question. He says, how do you convert crypto back to dollars so I can make a cash purchase?
Oh, no problem at all. Well, first off, now back when they called me an old head in crypto because I've been in the game so long. So I remember when you actually had to go through hoops and hollers to actually convert crypto back into cash. But now you have crypto exchanges that have their own debit cards where you can swipe your cryptocurrency in a Visa, MasterCard, or swipe it for fiat currency, to be honest. But the easiest way to answer your question is you go through exchanges that you can actually convert your cash back over. For instance, Coinbase. You can invest with cryptocurrency on Coinbase and actually convert it, sell it back into the system, and convert it back into fiat currency and have it back into your bank account within seconds.
Wow. Yeah. That's what's up.
The easiest way to do it is actually just go to a crypto exchange that has that debit card has access to that debit card, where so you can swipe your cryptocurrency and actually gain interest back into your cryptocurrency and back in cryptocurrency. So I think for every dollar you actually spend on your debit card, you gain 4% interest back into a cryptocurrency. So you still reinvested back into yourself. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Wow. Family, do me a favor, and if you haven't already, hit that like button. Also share this video because we need to get as many people to see this video as possible. I think I don't know. We're coming in kind of close in on the time, and I think I'm not gonna hold you much longer than we already had to. Do me a favor, man, and just close us out with two ideas, and then you can expand and add to that as much as you want. Tell people again how they can become a part of this rainbow. We call it Operation Rainbow, for lack of a better word. You go ahead and tell us what it really is. But how can people become a part of that movement that you're talking about doing on February 1st? You said
Yeah, February 4th.
February 4th. Tell us how we can become a part of that. And then also, um, again, reiterate to people how they can find you, how they can connect with you, how they can follow you, become a part of your group, take you on as a mentor. Just lay it out for us, man.
Okay, cool. No problem at all. Well, in order for you to become a part of the Rainbow Coalition, the Rainbow Project, you have to first be a part of the BMMO Investors Group. You can go to BMMO Investors, Millionaire Mindset Only Investors on Facebook. You can join that group. I'm putting all the instructions and everything on that group. How you can get in contact with me to become one of my students. You can actually go to www.cryptocliff.net, or you can go to www.mrcryptocliff@gmail.com, or you can write me directly on Facebook, Clifton O'Neill, and that's the easiest way to get in contact with me. When it comes down to getting into this space, like I said before, and I always preach, the information is the very, very, very pivotal key for you to be able to be a successful crypto investor. You have to engage into the information first. Before you put one red shiny penny into a crypto market, into any investment, you need to invest into the information heavy. And you need to get with people who are actually going to teach you how to invest into the crypto market versus people who are going to teach you how to gamble the crypto market. And that goes for the stock market, into any investment market. But I'm always big on mindset things, man. One of my favorite sayings, and I say it all the time: if you want to change your financial situation or your situation in life, you have to change your mindset. And when you change your mindset, you elevate your life. And that's one of the truest statements ever, because your mind controls everything. Everything around you is controlled by thoughts. If you just look outside your house right now, look at the houses, look at the apartments, wherever you stand at one point in time, that was a thought in somebody's head. That was a thought. When it comes down to stores, McDonald's, Applebee's, those were all thoughts in somebody's head at one point. So the most powerful thing in the world is not money, it's your thought process. So change your thought process and you'll change your situations.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Also, when you talked about investing into the information, would you say that your book is a way of investing into the information?
Oh yeah, definitely. My book is going to teach you. It's going to go to the statistics. It's not going to teach you about. I don't teach about opinions in my book. I go straight to the facts, to the heart of the facts in my book, and actually teach you what the wealth gap is and how to overcome the wealth gap, and how cryptocurrency can be that tool, or will be that tool, to overcome the wealth gap. The wealth gap is serious, and it's actually getting wider and wider. I don't know if you guys have seen the inflation rates lately.
Yeah.
Saving money in your bank account ain't gonna help. I teach about it all the time. Just saving money in your bank account is not gonna help. You actually losing money by saving money in the bank account. I know a lot of older people, especially, like to say, "I will put my money up under the mattress. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that." But no, you lose 1.9% interest on every dollar you save, just because the national inflation rate is 2%. I'm in Atlanta right now. Our inflation rate is 8.7%. So imagine how many people are losing money right here in Metro Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you have to put your money into avenues, into vehicles that's actually gonna help you make more money for you. And cryptocurrency is that way.
Where can people get this book? Look, I'm telling y'all, family, I grabbed this book and I didn't expect what I got from it, but it's very well written, and I'm not getting paid for this. This is it's just a genuine plug, sincere. This is a very well written book, very informative. Tell people where they can get your book, bro.
You can get my book at two places. You can get it on Amazon, and you can get it right now at Barnes and Noble. I'm sorry, Barnes and Noble.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna close out on that note, man. I thank you so much, man, for spending a little bit of your Tuesday evening with me, man. I really appreciate your presence on the platform. You shared a lot of very valuable information, and for that, we are eternally thankful. Any last words, thoughts, comments?
Hey, man, I appreciate the invite, brother. And we got to do this again sometimes, man. It's always good chopping it up with you, man. But like I said, one of my favorite sayings I like to leave people off with is, in order to change your situation, you have to change your mindset. And when you change your mindset, you elevate your life.
Yes, indeed. My brother says, is this the investment you talked to me about, Rick? Absolutely. It is. It is. So on that note, man, thanks again for joining us. Thank y'all family for joining us. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and for that we are eternally thankful. Love y'all, fam. Share this video, smash that like button, get this word out because this is important. And you heard Cliff say it right from his mouth that he want to come back, so we're gonna definitely bring him back because it's a lot going on in this space, and I got a feeling that between now and February 4th, a lot of people are gonna be reaching out trying to connect with you, and this is good, man. So again, I appreciate you, and we'll see y'all next time, family.
No problem.
Peace.
Peace.